Okay, let's try that. Did that do anything? Let's try that. Did that do anything? Did that do anything? Aha. All right, let's see. These I'm trying. I'm really trying, brother. Okay. Let's see if that works. That should be, I think. There we go. Okay. Save your layout and let's call it. Didn't seem to do it. Aha. That's better. Okay. All right, so let me go here. And this is a command of evidence question. You find out it's a command of evidence question by, of course, by reading the question. Now, on the actual test, this stuff up here is going to be on the left. That's the passage, and on the other stuff on the right. But here, whoops, I moved the whole screen around. But here, I wanted to undo. Maybe I can't undo. Okay. So the first thing I read the question, which choice most effectively uses data from the table? So this is command of evidence that has to do with a table. I would recommend that the first thing you do, you can do one of two things. A, check each answer choice to see if it meets whatever the question is, whatever the task the question sets. And then number two, if there's more than one left, eliminate those that don't accurately portray data from the table, or pick the one that does. Now, I find that, especially on the easier questions, so more questions, where all the answer choices are going to be accurate to the data. So, or I'm sorry, all of the answer choices are going to mention what's the question is asking. So on these, you're better off checking the table data first to see which answer choices are not accurate to table data. So whenever you see uses data from table to complete the statement, first check if the data is accurate. Shrimp cocktail for meal B. Well, I guess I have to read the statement anyway, because what if it says, which of the following is not on the table? So, and that one isn't. Okay. So it says, looking at the sample of food items for these menus, the student notes that on day one, the menu included. So what's on the menu on a certain day? And so we want to effectively use data. So I need to look at the answer choices that mention things on the menu. Well, all of these mention things on the menu. So as far as being accurate to the question or possibly answering the question, they all do. But now the question is, do they contain accurate table stuff? So if more than one is accurate to the question, in this case, all four of them are, it addresses the question. Then what I'm left with is trying to figure out which ones have good data from the table. So let's see. Shrimp cocktail for meal B. Well, meal B is either sugar cookies or chicken and vegetables. So this one's out. I'll put those over there. Let's check the next one. Hot cocoa for meal C. Nope. C does not include hot cocoa. C only says shrimp cocktail. That one's out. Sugar cookies for B. Well, look, sugar cookies is in B, so that one works. D, chicken and vegetables for meal A. Nope, only hot cocoa is on meal A. What kind of a meal is that? So the answer is C, sugar cookies. Here's another question. Now, this one is not a table data, but you handle it the same way. Go look into the text and find out what whatever it is it's trying to accomplish, and then make sure, eliminate the answer choices that don't mention what it is it wants to accomplish. This one, yeah, there will be facts, but not in a table. It will be in the passage. So let me look at what the task is first. Most effectively illustrates a claim. Well, what's the claim? I've got to go to the text for that. Oh, I guess it hung up on me. Nope, it's still there. Oh, Pioneers is a novel. In her novel, Cather portrays Alexandra Berkson as having a deep emotional connection to her natural surroundings. So I want Alexandra Berkson has a deep emotional connection to her natural surroundings. You can put that in your own words and write something down. Deep connection, nature. Okay? So let me look at the answer choices. She had never known before how much the country meant to her. The chirping of the insects down the long grass had been like sweet music. She had felt, there's emotional, she feels something. So I think this one is good. She feels. A looks good to me. B, Alexandra talked to the men about their crops and to the women about poultry. She spent a whole day with one young. This is her. She's talking to people. No deep emotional connection. Alexandra drove off alone. The rattle of her wagon was lost in the howling of the wind, but her lantern held firmly beneath her feet. This is describing her driving her wagon home. It was Alexandra who read the papers and followed markets and who learned by mistakes of their neighbors. It was Alexandra who could always tell. This is more about her knowing the market conditions, maybe reading the papers or looking at the reports and whatever. So A is the only one that talks about an emotional connection. Next one, which quotation from do you to you most effectively illustrates the claim? So this is another command of evidence, not a table, but I can still find information in things. So step one, find what is, okay, I want to most effectively illustrate the claim. Now I got to find the claim. To You is an 1865 poem by Walt Whitman. In the poem, Whitman suggests that readers whom he addresses directly have not fully understood themselves. Okay, so he's got to address them directly and say to them, you don't understand yourselves. So I'm looking for answer choices that do that, or eliminating the ones that don't. You have not known what you are. You have slumbered upon yourself all your life. Your eyeballs have been the same as closed most of the time. Well, that seems pretty good. Directly addressing someone, saying you don't know yourself. Your eyes are closed. You've slumbered upon yourself. You don't know what you are. Okay, so that one fits. B, the immense meadows, these interminable rivers. You are immense and interminable as they. I know this is about telling someone that they're great like the rivers. That's not directly addressing. It is directly addressing someone, but it is not saying you don't fully understand. See, I should have made my way straight to you long ago. I should have blabbed nothing but you. This is about what Walt should have done, not saying that you don't know yourself. I will leave all and come and make the hymns of you. None has understood you, but I understand you. That's kind of the opposite. The writer understands the person that's being directly addressed, but it's not about the person. So not knowing yourself. So A is the answer. Next one. Which finding, if true, would most directly support this hypothesis? So I want to most directly support a hypothesis? Well, I better find out what the hypothesis is. Our module hypothesizes that they can reduce the roasting time for solar roasted green chiles by using more heliostats. Okay, whatever. They can reduce the time by using more heliostats. What's a heliostat? Maybe we need to know that. It says, to see if solar power could be a better alternative, engineer Ken Apple and his team roasted batch of green chili using heliostats, which are devices that concentrate sunlight. Okay, so it's a kind of a solar gadget. The temperature inside the roasting drum is distributed more evenly when roasting green chiles with solar power. Well, the thing says reduce time, not distributing more evenly. So that one's out. It's got to be about reducing time. Attempts to roast green chiles using 50 heliostats yield results in fewer than 6 minutes. Well, that addresses it. Now we'll see if it's accurate. Green chile connoisseurs prefer the flavor of solar roasted green chile. That's about flavor. That's out. The skins of solar roasted green chiles are easier to peel than skins of propane. It's not about time. So I would have to check B to see if it's accurate to the data, and I'll do it anyway just to prove that it is. If there was more than one answer choice that talked about lowering, supporting the hypothesis, which is reduce the roasting time. Well, let's see. Attempts to roast using 50 heliostats by using more heliostats. Originally, it says use 38 to 40 heliostats, so 50 would be using more. And then it says the team was successful reached the same roasting temperature, but they found the propane yielded faster, while the faster solar green chilies took 6 minutes. And this one says 4 minutes, fewer than 6 minutes. So it reduced the roasting time by using more heliostats, but didn't even have to check that because only one answer choice addressed the question. So I only had to read the passage in order to find out what the hypothesis was. And then a little bit more because I didn't know what heliostats were. And when I read the answer choice, it didn't say anything about solar. All it said, solar roasted green chilies by using more heliostats. Oh, I guess it did. I really didn't have to know what heliostats were. All right, here's another one. Which choice most effectively uses data from the graph? All right, so let me see. What's the example? The example says the graph shows that for west regions, the winds were, well, I don't know, that's kind of, the winds were what? Let me read it. When winds are stronger than they were forecast to be, however, the predicted maximum amount of electricity wind turbines could generate will be too low. So when they were higher than predicted, so winds high, I'll write this down. Winds high, power was lower than predicted. All right, let's see. Strong enough to generate about 150,000 more from wind turbines. Well, that's more. So weak that the offshore wind was about 107,000 less. So weak, strong enough to generate 107,000 more of electricity from wind turbines. Graph shows that for the west region, the winds were, well, I guess all of them kind of mention it. Amount of additional energy. It says, however, the predicted max amount of electricity winds could generate will be too low. For example, okay, strong enough to generate about 150,000 more. The west region. West region is gray. Well, that looks good. So weak that the electricity of Windsor was about 175,000 less. Well, no, that's wrong. So weak that the electricity of Windsor was 150,000 less. That's wrong. Strong enough to generate 107,000 more. Well, that's wrong. Okay, so I don't know. I'm not really seeing the connection here, but I know that A is the only one that's accurate to the table. So sometimes I would say on these table data ones, check out which ones are accurate first. But in this case, I got to that step anyway because they all seem to answer the question. So the answer to this one, which I call number 5, is A. Let me just double check it. Here's 5. They say the answer is A. So, okay, good enough. Good enough, Mr. McFluff. What's going on here? Oh. Okay, I'm going to end the stream.